Outside video. At least I'm pretty sure. Let's see, is it working? Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, my fear, why the weather's still nice. So, check up on the praying mantis over here. She should be right over here. Where are you, bitch? I mean, you know, your fineness. Don't see her anywhere. Anyway, she was here this morning. Very fat. Full of eggs and such, no doubt. Anyway, somebody asked a stupid question like, I do something with the eggs. No, I don't do anything with them. It's very creepy, the things people think of. But you see, the thing is, they do think. So that's the theme here, is these people who think we don't do any of this thinking thing inspired by something somebody else might say. Somebody will make an accusation like I steal praying mantis eggs or something, and it'll give you a thought and stuff will happen in your brain and you'll say, well, I never considered that possible, or some kind of nonsense like that. And it might get you to think the government's controlling something, or it might get you to think all kinds of things. And it's part of the universing, but it's an actual mechanism. I mean, there's this fatalists out there. They're determinists, yet they think that there's nothing in the environment or anything in the world that is in any way noticeable as events, and that the events are, let's see, I don't know how to, I mean, quite clearly, it's already written. I mean, the story is already written in the sense that the interactions are going to be inevitable. The dice are going to roll a certain way, and that's just it. But in the process of that, our brains can in no way see that inevitability. I mean, I can't see in any way that somebody could tell me, well, it's inevitable that a week from now I'm going to be obsessed with praying mantis eggs and trying to collect them because I'm trying to thwart some government conspiracy, and the way is through the praying mantis eggs because, yeah, this guy told me about this, praying mantis egg conspiracy. And, from here I'd say, well, I don't see how the dice can possibly bounce that way. But there's obviously, they could bounce in all kinds of strange ways that will require my brain to do something. Something I might think is stupid or retarded. So yes, a Christian could be sitting somewhere today saying, I love Jesus, and Jesus has given me so much, and he's done so much for me, and I'm just it's just such a wonderful, it's great that Jesus has been there in my life. And I could tell them, well, maybe a rational person will have a conversation with you and explain to you how you're psychotic and insane, to be thinking that fairy princess Jesus has been guiding your life in some way and helping you out and all that kind of mush. It's just childish and silly. It's an imaginary friend. I mean, grow up, silly person. And it sticks because it's somebody you respect or some other kind of thing, and you're just like, gee, that person thinks I'm a complete idiot. And it bothers you, and you say, I wonder what it has to do with praying mantis eggs. But you ignore that part because you say that doesn't make any sense either. So yes, the universe goes about universing, but we are participating in the sense that the universe is right before our eyes. I mean, it does it right in front of us. And we get to see if it's doing something incredibly illogical. And we especially get to see if we are doing something incredibly selfish or stupid or small-minded or petty or weaselly. We see it. It's right there in front of us. So when these fatalists make excuses for the idea that they have a native psychology, that is, I'm a selfish prick, I don't really give a fuck, G-A-F, okay, for what the fuck happens to these other douchebags, technically. And yes, I can provide some lip service. I can blah, 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 blah. Oh, isn't that awful? They got blown up by a terrorist. Oh, isn't that awful? Blah, 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 blah. And yeah, we can do a little yammery talk, like it matters. But we're really thinking about, vaginas or something. Especially ones that aren't attached to evil, psychotic, succubus bitches. Floating vaginas with wings. And we're saying, yes, that's what I care about. I don't really care about all this other crap. I don't care what happens to these assholes. And that's sort of the truth. That you can be a vain, self-obsessed son of a bitch. But logically, you can know that's what you are. You can say, I can properly identify. That's a cat. See, I don't really like cats, but I like them more than people. So see, that's the key of the thing. I don't hate them as much as I hate people. But I don't take care of them because I like them. I take care of them because they need to be taken care of. And I understand that they need that. And that if that doesn't happen, bad will happen. And I don't want the bad. Bad is bad. And I know that. And I know bad is bad no matter who it's happening to. So even if I don't like people, I can understand that I don't want unnecessary bad to happen to them. If it's constructive bad, like it teaches them a motherfucking lesson, gives them a taste of their own fucking cunt medicine, well then I'm kind of for it, because it might reclimate them. Or kill them, which is also good. So punishment, for the purpose of edification, very good. Punishment for the sake of, I don't like that asshole, not so good. So this is really not complicated. I don't know how like I said, this kind of crap occurred to me in my youth, the sense that, oh, I'm an asshole. At heart, I'm selfish, and stinky, and not very nice as an animal. I'm not a nice animal. But what I do have is a brain, so I can know that I'm not a very nice animal by nature, and I can know logically that doing something to compensate for that would be the right thing to do. That, yes, you take care of the cats, even though you really don't like them, because they need it. And you do other things you don't want to do because you know it needs to get done. And you don't do it because it's going to be fun. You don't do it because you personally profit. You do it because merely the fact is you have knowledge that it's the right thing to do. It's like I could personally enjoy watching gladiators kill each other, and then I could watch them getting fed to lions. And personally I could say, I could probably find that entertaining. Probably. Especially if we drape them in flags or something, so it'll make it even more fun. And give them ethnicities and all kinds of stuff so I can really, really enjoy it. But my brain knows, oh, that's gross. That's just disgusting. If you're a pervert, that's like child molesting or something. See, you could say that I could possibly find a young person sexually attractive, and that wouldn't in any way be overtly obnoxious. But the idea of raping one is obnoxious. The idea of stealing candy from one, the candy, let's say, manipulating them to get what you want. Now that's wrong. So this is the difference. Our nature can suck. Our thoughts can be rational and thoughtful, and we can recognize the difference between a beet and a cat. We can recognize the difference between, I don't know, a dishwasher and a sentient human being who's troubled or in distress. We can do that. We don't have to like the human being more than the dishwasher. We just have to be able to recognize that, oh yes, the human will have a conscious experience full of these sensations that I've also experienced, and I know they have value, and I'm quite sure okay, because of my personal experience with these experiences, that yes, it will be profitable if I prevent nails from going in people's eyes, if I help stop AIDS viruses from infecting people, keep the drunks off the road, do these basic little things, that yes, there will be less harm most of the time. I mean, obviously some of these cases, you know, you feed starving people and then they just end up having more babies, and then the babies just make more of a mess, and so you actually lose ground where you thought you were gaining ground. So sometimes you prevent a mass murderer from getting AIDS, and that's a boo-boo. But we know that most of the time you can rationally know the odds and understand where the good investments are versus the bad investments. So if you want to do like charity in the world, the smart charity to invest in is one that stops babies from being made, and the stupid charity is the one where you finance the production of the babies. So like even a dumb person can figure this stuff out, that making more problems isn't fixing problems. And so you can apply logic, do the right thing, blah 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 blah. So even in this preaching of a philosophy thing, or giving people psychiatric advice, or whatever the fuck some people would call this guruing thing, or this conversation about philosophy, you can clearly understand that me telling people it's okay to be a nihilist, it's just a configuration of atoms, it's just the molecules bouncing around, it doesn't have any, go ahead, kick it in the head, it doesn't matter. That would be stupid, retarded, moronic. That would just lead to pain and suffering being endured unnecessarily, because I advocated some sort of nihilism as being, well, you can't help what you are. That's the anti-Kantavad kind of crap. And the mystic is the same way. He basically says you were born, and that's it. So, it doesn't matter whether you banged into an idea in your life. You were born to be something, and you can't stop it from happening, and that's the something you will be. And any of this idea crap is just kind of a entertainment. So if it isn't entertaining, if you're not entertained by philosophy or conversation or thought, then you're doing it wrong. That's his kind of idiom, and it really is an idiom, stupidum, retardum. Because yes, even thinking can sometimes be profoundly troubling, painful, uncomfortable, because you will recognize that you suck, you'll recognize that you have to do better, you have to do more work, you have to get up in the morning and feed the cats that you don't like, and other things that you'll have to endure to get wherever it is you're trying to go, which does get tricky as you get older. Yes, I mean, I have more purpose and function, ironically, now than I had previously in my life, which is kind of funny. So even though I want to die even more than in the past, I just want to get the hell out of here. That's what I selfishly want to do. I just want to take the limo to Barbados or whatever, and have my do my forever sleepy thing. But knowledge of the fact that leaving the disease in place is a catastrophic error. So you really just can't go on vacation if you left the disease on. It's like leaving the gas on. Well, leaving the disease in place, just like leaving the gas on. It's just not a good idea. Things will be hurt. So, it is just kind of irritating. Because now I really feel kind of obligated. A sense of, and I feel the sense of it. It's a feeling, okay, as much as it is an idea. And it's a feeling that generates out of the fact that first, that fixing something that's broken is kind of a good idea, because that you wouldn't want to step in a bear trap because somebody didn't pick it up. That kind of crap. And so some of it's just obvious, like cleaning up after your pet so somebody else doesn't step in the poo. You know, that kind of simple stuff. Not too hard to figure out stuff. You know, but there is the more complex part of it, in the sense that, yes, you can say your own existence can end, but the mechanism that got you here in the first place isn't over. So almost it's in your self-interest to stop the torture that will happen to a future thing much like yourself. So that's all I really need to know, is that if there's something going to exist in the future that's going to be much like myself, ooh, you know, I want to somehow put some money in his bank account, you know, give him a few tips and pointers, and I want to protect him from the AIDS virus and bear traps and cat poo. Because it's almost in my own interest to do it. So in a sense, I've turned something that's logically understood, and I have made it a little bit of a personal, I have a personal interest by just recognition that it really isn't aliens who are doing the suffering. And even if it were aliens, they are not different enough from a me for me to say what happens to them is irrelevant. And so that's the catch. I'm not insufficiently bug-like for me to think I don't have an interest in what happens to bugs. Bugs are close enough. So there has been a lot of these little vines growing around here, and they're apparently some kind of wild pea. little tiny pea potty. Anyway, not that that's terribly interesting. So, yeah, so this is just a vote against fatalism, because it doesn't make any sense. We're watching it happen. Again, we're not without power to watch the conveyor belt of crap come before us, and we can see shit on the conveyor belt. We can see shit a-coming. We can see it. It's coming right down the belt. We can see it. To say you have no ability to change reality, the shit must go, blah 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 blah, to make all these rationalizations is idiotic. Clearly, the right thing to do is to recognize the shit will do no good and to knock it off the conveyor belt. So when the mystic plays his little idiotic games like, I can't figure out whether to give a fuck, you don't need to give a fuck in any kind of personal way. You just have to realize that shit on conveyor belts isn't a good idea. It will lead to no good. Nothing good can come of it. And he knows this shit. He knows nothing good can come of people thinking they can't control getting pregnant, or thinking they can't control being selfish, greedy bastards, or thinking they have no ability to understand that their behavior does have an impact, and that there is a steps that we're going to take. I'm going to take steps, and we can do our best to think about which way should I go, which way should I go. This is downhill, so it might be okay, this will save a little bit of energy until I figure out a better plan. So until I figure out a better plan, I'll save my energy by going downhill, and now I can think of a better plan. Okay, that way is his lawnmower over there. He could never know what they can do. Alright, which way? I'm just saying we can think about it, analyze it, and figure out logically what's good. And we can know that being a selfish cunt is not win. That's stupid. That's a bug. We're fucking human beings. We can do better than that. We can analyze a system. We can figure out not to put gasoline in the radiator. We can figure out not to put water in the oil. We can figure out not to put brake fluid in the transmission. We can figure this shit out. And for these assholes to talk like, no, we don't see any of it happening. No, we're completely helpless. Our hands are tied. I feel like putting water in the gas tank, and there's nothing that can stop me. No kind of logic or reasoning or seeing the shit on the conveyor belt can stop me. No. Bullshit. Evasion and rationalization. So just because the majority of the human race are imbeciles, chasing fairy princesses, with beards, doesn't mean you have an excuse to be silly and to say silly things and imply silly things like you can't figure out whether giving a damn is something that needs to be done by things that are supposed to be logical. That logical things shouldn't care that shit is going down the conveyor belt. And they shouldn't brush it off. Yeah. And most of the shit, most of the human catastrophe is that simple. It would take no effort at all just to go like that. To say, don't drink. Instead of doing commercials for booze, suggest that booze never did anybody any good. It really doesn't make people that good a comic. No joke told by a drunk has ever justified the boozery costs. It's not a winner for human beings. So yeah, don't vote for that one. Don't vote for gambling. Don't vote for eating meat if you don't have to, because obviously you don't have to. You don't have to become an addict, and therefore you don't have to be an addict. And we should be advocating for those simple things. Don't smoke. Don't be reckless with your bodily health. Don't overeat. Don't do a million things we can put on the list and say, hey, these are all bad things. Don't waste your neurons on sports or anime or some other silly soap opera addiction. What's going to happen in the next episode of silly bullshit? Instead of edifying yourself, educating yourself, learn stuff that matters, not stuff that doesn't matter. Whether Dr. Silly Butt, Bones, Nurse Crazy Fuck, who cares? It just doesn't matter. Just like it doesn't matter how many home runs, Emilio Stinkio hits next year. So cut yourself free of the bullshit and think. Be intelligent. Be knowledgeable. Don't be a shithead and a shit talker. Think rationally, and you can still have a personality. You can still be a little bit quirky. You can still get confused. You can still even make rationalizations once in a while to eat a banana cream pie. But don't do this silly crap. That all this waste in the world that exists for any other reason than all you assholes keep endorsing it. You keep telling poor people it's okay to be dumb and ignorant and have 10 kids. Quit telling them it's okay. Fuckers. That takes no effort. It takes no effort. It really doesn't. It's like just knocking a piece of shit off the conveyor belt. It's almost zero sacrifice. You really should be able to do this, fuckheads. Minor effort. Alright, anyway, enough of a video. And such. So, the saga will continue. But yeah, fuck this fatalism crap. Fuck this. The inevitable is going to happen, and we aren't part of the process. We just do whatever we have to do. We don't have to first apply rationality and logic and actually watch it happen and actually contribute, not in a passive sense but in an active sense. And yes, our activity will be inevitable, but let's not deny that you have to be inevitably an asshole who thinks shit going down the conveyor belt is okay. You have to actually do that for the shit to make it down the conveyor belt. You have to say it's okay. Yeah, fuckers. Anyway, till the next time. Painted door. Very nice, actually. Never finished it. With all the other 10 million other things I never finished. Never finished the pathway into the house. Just cat food. Yeah, people gripe about my house, but you know what? The only temple, the only enclosure that really matters is this one. And so many of you people who would gripe about my peeling paint or some other dent in this facade that I rent, by the way, you know, it's not exactly mine. It's not exactly my obligation to fix it. You know, all you poopers, you know, you're probably living, you know, breathing in a temple you haven't taken care of at all. So yeah, you might have a pretty house, but the real important house you've treated like shit. You've slobbed and yobbed and hoarded a bunch of donuts to ruin. You got donut crumbs all over the fucking thing. So don't be pointing your fucking fingers, okay, at me and say I'm doing it wrong. No, you fuckers are doing it wrong. So, till next time.